Hi guys, welcome to this Moneycontrol live stream. You are tuned into IPO Watch with me, Nandita Khemka, and today, of course, on this show, we are focusing in on the IPO of India's leading solar PV module manufacturer, Saatvik Green Energy. The 900 crore rupee IPO has kicked off for subscription, and of course, it has raised somewhere around 269 crore rupees via the anchor book. Marquee domestic names like HDFC Mutual Fund, Nippon Life India, Bandhan Mutual Fund, SBI General Insurance are among the anchor investors for this issue. Of course, to talk about the future roadmap, right here in my studios, I have the management, Manik Garg, who is the MD of the company. Manik, first of all, lovely to have you here in our studios. Congratulations on the IPO. Of course, you've had some marquee domestic names already participating via the anchor book. But help us understand, more about the timing of this issue. You guys have been operational since 2016, 9 years.
Yeah.
Why now?
Right. So thank you first of all for inviting me to the show. Just to give you a brief history of how we started and when we started. So we started this company about 9 years back, like you mentioned, and it was started by Nilesh and my brother and I. So the vision was clear, to transform the energy landscape of India. And that time, our Honorable Prime Minister PM Modi had, announced the National Solar Mission, extended the National Solar Mission, in fact, and they gave a target to the entire nation, to build solar capacity in India. And that's the mission we kept in our head, and that's with that vision we went ahead and built this company. So if you see, in the last 9 years, we have gone from a humble 125 megawatt per annum module manufacturing capacity to 3.8 gigawatt at the end of FY25, and all of this expansions we have done organically and consistently. So there's been no external equity investor that's there in the business. We have invested whatever we made back into the business, and that is why we've been able to grow this company bootstrap till now. But the targets that the government is giving, are exponential, and to fuel that growth, you definitely need more people to join in that mission and motion. So that's why I think this is the apt time for us to also garner more people on board as investors who can help us in this journey and further rapidly grow and help us grow this
Sure, 3.8 gigawatt, that was the capacity,
Yeah.
but you guys are also setting up a 4 gigawatt solar PV module manufacturing facility in Odisha.
Right.
Give us some color on the timelines when it will be operational and the revenue potential, if you can give us some color on that.
Sure. Absolutely. So, 3.8 gigawatt was as of for end of first quarter.
June.
As of June, and in the second quarter we added another capacity which was pre-planned, and so after the 4 gigawatt expansion in Odisha will be a total of 8.8 gigawatt of module manufacturing capacity, and to have backward integration as well as part of a mix, we are also adding 4.8 gigawatt of cell capacity in Odisha. So all of these capacities will come online by FY27.
FY27, that's next financial year itself.
Yes.
Okay, great. In terms of debt retirement, I was going through your usage of the fresh proceeds. You will be retiring 10.8 crore worth of debt for your unit, and for a subsidiary it will be somewhere around 165 crores.
Yes.
Post the debt retirement, would you have any leverage, and how much would that be?
Yeah, so currently we have two kinds of debts. First is obviously the long-term capex term loans, and the second is the fund-based working capital requirement debt. So with the proceeds of the issue, we'll be retiring all the long-term debt of the company. And the working capital obviously is required as the business grows, as the top line grows. So that will keep on fueling the business. But for now, we'll be completely debt-free in terms of long-term debt.
Oh, great. Completely debt-free. But would you be looking to come to the market anytime soon to fund your further expansion plans?
Yes, of course. I mean, so for now, the expansions that we are doing in Odisha, that's the reason why we are raising these funds. But of course, as the expansion plans keep on coming online, we will definitely have more requirements of funds. So we'll look at both debt and equity to fund our future growth plans.
Sure. Let's talk about some of the financials. As going through the exponential growth you've seen in the top line, EBITDA as well. You've already mentioned that you guys have witnessed, exponential growth in terms of both since 2016. But revenues have grown at a CAGR of 88% since FY23 and EBITDA 4x.
Yeah.
But tell me, I mean, can this pace be really sustained over the next 2 to 3 years? Any revenue run rate targets that you have in your mind?
I can't give you a future guidance,
of course,
but
ballpark.
But see, if you see the growth that has happened over the last 3 years, and this is just the beginning, right? As an industry as a whole, we've just started on, the engine is just started. So I think the growth is ahead of us from that standpoint, and I think we being also a key player in the industry will definitely get benefit out of that, and with the increased capacities, I am sure we'll be able to go with that run rate.
Sure, there are concerns around supply glut in the industry. Analysts have warned that supply glut could squeeze returns, pressure prices as well. In such an environment, would you be really able to maintain your EBITDA margins? Is that a concern for you guys also?
I don't think so. On a larger stand, it's a concern because the industry is, like I said, is just starting, to grow, and India has a massive potential to absorb the solar, energy. At a utility scale demand from that perspective. So in the coming 4-5 years, I don't see that happening. And another reason what is happening and is the fact that the country is moving towards backward integration. So it's not just about pure play module manufacturing anymore. It is more about how backward integrated you are, and that is how the policies are also getting framed in the center. And those are the reasons which will keep the supply in check.
Sure. Give us some color on your market share as well. How much market share do you have, and any game plan in place to spruce it up further?
Right.
Throw some color on that as well.
Sure. So if you see in the last few years, obviously the imports were also there in the country, and from an imports of around 90%, which India used to import 3-4 years back, to around 10-15% exports, which have been still there in the last fiscal. I think now with the new policies of ALMM and domestic manufacturing, I think that is going to go away, so that can give a bump to our market share. But otherwise, we've been consistently at around 5 to 7%, and we can easily defend that and grow in terms of the Chinese going out of the market.
Sure, I was going to come to you about the ALMM thing, but of course that will also benefit you guys. But globally there are some challenges, right? Because there is some investigation going into the exports to US. The US Commerce Department is carrying out anti-dumping investigations. In terms of your exposure to US, how big a risk is that for you?
Sure. Luckily for us, our exports are less than 1%, around 1.5% at max. So we don't personally, as a business, don't see that risk. But as a nation and as an industry, I feel that exports can be a good potential in the future, and obviously these global tensions will keep on shaping themselves. But India is building right now. I think India is building capacity for its own. It's for its own good and not for keeping in mind the US. If that happens, that's a bumper.
Of course, that's true. But tell us, you already of course have 1% share, you said, in US exports, right? Other countries include Canada, Seychelles. Any plan to deepen international presence as well? I know domestically you guys have your hands full, but in terms of diversification of your client base internationally, would you be looking at other nations as well?
Right. No, absolutely. We are already present in some parts of Africa, and apart from US, we are there in Canada, and Europe is something that we also actively explore. So we have a full focus not only for selling modules but also to do our EPC internationally, and we work with some international projects already, and we wish to grow that business as well.
Sure. Domestically, in your EPS end of the business, you had Jindal Steel as your client as well. I think that was the biggest client. Any color in terms of what kind of projects are there in the pipeline for EPC? A, and B, overall your order book picture, how is it looking like? I think your order book was somewhere around, I think,
4 gigawatt.
Yeah. So how is the order book trajectory looking like for FY27?
Sure. So as far as EPC is concerned, it only forms around 5% of our
Okay.
overall business, and we wish to maintain it at that. Though when the business grows, that 5% will also grow in absolute terms. And we only undertake marquee projects when it comes to our EPC, and Jindal is one of that key CNI customer that we have, and we have similar customers in pipeline where we're working with them on the EPC projects. As far as the overall order book is concerned, like a 4 gigawatt order book roughly translates to around 5,000 plus crores of top line revenue potential, and this is generally a 9 to 12 month sort of rolling order book.
Okay.
And the order book gets built up as and when you keep on adding capacities. Though we feel that we only consider order as a part of our order book when we have a financial commitment against it.
Okay.
So that is the reason. And secondly, what's most important is that we also sell through channel and spot sales, and that contributes to around 30% of our business.
Okay.
And that is never forms a part of the order book, and that happens month on month.
Okay, that's another revenue stream.
Yes.
You could call it like that. Any message to your prospective shareholders? You can use our platform and give them some message. Anything that you would like to tell them?
Right. So of course, I think when you invest in a company, you always look at the management that runs the company. You see the growth of the company, the results they've delivered in the past, and how the future plans are looking like. And I think from that perspective, we are fortunate that we've delivered constant growth and without any over leverage. Without any external equity. So till now, we feel that we've done a decent job in terms of what we could, and now that the playing field is growing bigger and bigger, I think we have more places in the field to hit sixes. So I think that is definitely going to help us. And in terms of even the customer concentration, if you see that, like I mentioned, we have a very large diversified customer base, IPPs, developers.
You guys have come down from concentration,
exactly.
80% to 60% or
Yes.
something like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
so that is what we constantly focus on. We constantly focus on risk deleveraging in every way or form, whether it be customer concentration or whether it be geographical concentration, and at the same time on the capital structure point of view. So the IPO is also a part of that plan.
So you guys are confident of maintaining your return ratios, irrespective of any kind of global challenge or any supply glut concerns. But irrespective of that, are you confident of maintaining your return ratios?
I mean, I can't comment on what happens globally. We are a very small part of the entire global this thing. But as far as if all other things remain constant, like they say in economics, I think we are in a good position.
Well, on that optimistic note, I would like to thank you for taking out time and coming down to our studios. All the best for your IPO and your subsequent listing. Hope to connect with you again. Now that you'll be listed, we'll be decoding your numbers on a quarterly basis as well.
Absolutely, looking forward to that.
Thank you. Well, with that, we've come to the end of this edition of IPO Watch. Of course, stay tuned to Moneycontrol.com for all your other news and updates. I'll see you at 3:30 p.m. with the markets and Yatin on closing bell. Thank you.